There's a reason you keep putting it off, and it's not laziness. That thing you avoid, that uncomfortable conversation, that unfinished project, that one goal you keep pushing back, that's the exact place you need to go. Not because it's where you'll fail, but because it's where you'll change. Most of us live in avoidance mode. We dodge what challenges us. We distract ourselves from discomfort. We rationalize inaction. But the truth is, growth doesn't come from comfort. Growth comes from the tension between where you are and who you could become. And the tension? It lives in the things you avoid. This video is about that, about why we avoid, what it's costing us, and how to break the cycle, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you're scared, even if it's messy. Let's dig in. Avoidance isn't random and strategic. Your brain avoids the very things that threaten its illusion of control. That's why you procrastinate on the thing that matters the most. That's why your to-do list is full of small tasks and your dreams remain untouched. It's why you check email instead of writing the pitch. It's why you clean your apartment instead of applying for the job. It's why you scroll for hours instead of that side project you can't stop thinking about. Because those big things, they require something real, emotional effort, courage, exposure, and that makes them feel dangerous. Not physically dangerous, psychologically dangerous. Because if you start and fail, you've confirmed the fear. So instead, you stay still, not because you're lazy, but because you're scared of confirming the voice that says you're not enough. But here's the catch. Avoiding it confirms that fear even more. You think you're safe by not trying, but you're actually reinforcing the belief that you're incapable. Let's look at a real story. There's a guy named Kevin. For years, he wanted to start a podcast. He had the name, the theme, the first 10 episodes outlined, but he kept avoiding it. Every week, he told himself he needed better equipment, a soundproof room, a logo, an intro song. The truth? He was terrified of being judged, of sounding stupid, of no one listening. But eventually the pain of avoidance became heavier than the fear of trying. He recorded one episode. No intro music, no fancy mic, just his phone. And something happened. He didn't die. He posted it. Some people listened, some didn't. But he proved to himself that he could start. And starting became a new story. One where he wasn't just thinking about ideas, he was living them. That's the power of going where you avoid. Because what you avoid often points at what you care about most. You don't avoid things that don't matter. You avoid things that do. Now let's talk about why avoidance is so powerful. Psychologically, we're wired for it. The amygdala, the fear center of the brain, triggers avoidance behavior when we associate something with pain or risk. But the modern world isn't filled with predators and cliffs. It's filled with uncertainty and identity threats. Starting something new threatens your identity. It says, I'm not yet who I want to be. That gap, it hurts. So you numb the gap. You delay. You scroll. You snack. You make up tasks to feel busy. It's not procrastination. It's protection. But here's the cost. The longer you avoid, the louder the fear becomes. Avoidance teaches your brain that discomfort equals danger. And every time you avoid, that belief grows stronger. That's it. You teach your brain something new. You teach it that discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the path. And that's when things start to shift. Let's make this practical. Here's a framework. The avoidance audit. Step 1. Write down the 3 things you've been avoiding. Step 2. Ask yourself, what am I actually afraid of here? Be honest. Step 3. Ask, what would it look like to start this badly? Step 4. Schedule 15 minutes to face it. Not to finish it, just face it. The 3-minute momentum rule. Anything you've avoided for more than a week, give it 3 minutes. That's it. Start for 3 minutes and then stop. Why? Because starting activates a Zeigarnik effect. Your brain hates unfinished business. Those 3 minutes will pull you forward. Let's talk about identity now. Because avoidance isn't just a behavior, it's a belief. I'm someone who avoids hard things. I'm someone who can't finish. I'm someone who never follows through. But those identities aren't true. They're practice. You practice avoidance long enough to believe it was who you are. But the same way you've learned to avoid, you can learn to act. And every time you do, you're not just changing behavior, you're changing identity. You're voting for a new version of yourself. And those votes add up. There's a quote I love. Your future is hidden in your daily routine. Well, I'll take it one step further. Your future is hiding in the thing you're avoiding. Because it's not random. That difficult conversation, it holds freedom. The project you keep postponing, it holds clarity. The scary next step, it holds momentum. The treasure you're looking for is buried beneath the fear you keep tiptoeing around. And yeah, didn't get up won't be comfortable. You'll sweat, you'll doubt, you'll want to run. But if you stay with it, if you push just a little deeper, you'll realize something wild. You're not running from failure, you're running from your own power. Because once you act, once you start, you lose the excuse. You can no longer say, I could have. Now it's real. And that reality, it's sacred. So here's your challenge. Go do the thing you've been avoiding. Not all of it, not perfectly, not for an hour, just a little, just now. Just enough to prove to yourself that fear isn't your ruler. Because every time you step toward what you avoid, you shrink it. And every time you shrink it, you grow. That's how you build momentum. That's how you become someone new. Let me tell you about Maya. Maya was a painter, but she hadn't painted in 5 years. Every time she thought about getting her brushes out, she felt a weight on her chest. Not inspiration, pressure. What if her work wasn't as good as it used to be? What if she lost her touch? So she avoided it. She rearranged her studio, bought new materials, followed other artists online, everything except paint. Until one night, she gave herself permission to make something ugly. 1 hour, one canvas, no expectations. That painting, it wasn't good, but it broke the spell. It reminded her that joy wasn't in the outcome. It was in the doing. And that doing created the momentum she needed. She started painting weekly, and then daily, and soon, her work came back stronger than ever. Not because she forced perfection, because she surrendered to progress. Avoidance, when unexamined, becomes your lifestyle. You start avoiding feedback, avoiding ambition, avoiding love, avoiding risk. You become a master of justification. I'm just busy. I'm not ready. It's not the right time. But underneath it all, you're avoiding yourself, your potential, your truth, your next level. That's what hurts the most. You can lie to the world, but lying to yourself has a cost, your confidence. Every day you avoid the hard thing, your self-trust erodes. But here's the fix. Action rebuilds it. Each time you act, even a tiny act, you send yourself a signal. I'm someone who shows up. I'm someone who tries. I'm someone who doesn't run. And that's how change sticks. Not with a breakthrough, with a choice, over and over again. Let's talk science again. There's something called exposure therapy. It's used to help people overcome phobias by gradually facing the thing they fear in small, controlled ways. You can use the same principle with the things you avoid. Afraid of speaking up? Start with a question in a small meeting. Avoiding the gym? Walk into one and stay for 5 minutes. Terrified of creating content? Record a 30-second video with no intention of posting. Tiny steps, repeated often, build a new normal. The brain learns safety through repetition. That's how you rewire avoidance into approach. The one brick method. Think of the goal that you've been avoiding as a wall. It feels too big, too complex. Now forget the wall. Just lay one brick. That brick might be opening a document, sending an email, writing a first line, naming the file, saying yes. That's it. Don't build the whole thing. Just lay one brick, then another. Eventually, the wall shows up. But it wasn't built in one motion. It was built in one moment, repeated. This mindset removes pressure and unlocks action. It also kills procrastination's favorite lie, I'll do it later. There is no later. There's just unbuilt walls and unused tools. Let me wrap this with a reminder. The thing you're avoiding isn't your enemy. It's your compass. It's pointing to the thing that will stretch you, teach you, mold you. And yes, it'll scare you. But courage isn't the absence of fear. It's movement with fear. So go toward it. You know you've been putting off, the decision you've been delaying, the truth you've been dodging. It's all waiting on the other side of action. And that's where you'll grow. Because what you avoid isn't just a task, it's a transformation in disguise. You'll face it. The next video is already calling your name. And if you're still doubting whether you're capable, let me tell you something important. Avoidance isn't a personality trait. It's a pattern. And patterns can be broken. You're not someone who just can't focus. You're someone who has trained themselves to avoid discomfort, and you can train yourself to move through it. Your brain is plastic. It rewires itself based on what you do repeatedly. So every time you stop yourself from avoidance and do the hard thing anyway, you're changing your brain. You're not just getting stronger, you're becoming different. You're becoming someone who can trust themselves. And that trust, that's the foundation of confidence. Not perfection, not performance, but trust. You trust that you'll act, that you'll try, that you'll show up, no matter how small. That's the kind of confidence no one could take from you. And it starts with one decision, one tiny moment of defiance. I guess a part of you that says, not now. It says, yes now. It says, I'm done waiting. And here's something else. Avoidance doesn't go away forever. It will sneak back in. New goals, new fears, new edges. But now, you'll see it sooner. You'll maim it faster. And you'll face it stronger. Because you'll know the truth. What you avoid is often where you grow. Watch the next video and lay the next brick.